Today I'm sharing one of my favorite cakes of all time, and it is this beautiful cookie butter cake. So the full recipe for this cake is up on Chelsweets.com, and it's made with a brown sugar cake base that's frosted with two different types of buttercream. I wanted to layer the buttercreams on top of each other, and to get the really cool kind of striped look, I chilled the cake after smoothing my first layer of vanilla buttercream, and then added on my cookie butter frosting. I couldn't resist adding a pretty generous drizzle of cookie butter between the layers, and I heated up my jar of cookie butter in the microwave for about 15 seconds to make it easier to drizzle. I repeated this process with all four of my cake layers, and there is a bit of downtime when making this cake because you do have to pop it into the freezer from time to time, but it's totally worth it, and you'll see how cool the inside looks once we cut into this. When I did a live stream for this cake, one of the questions I got asked the most was, what does cookie butter taste like? So if you've never had it before, it kind of tastes like a gingerbread cookie that's crushed up, and it kind of has caramel notes as well. But to be honest, you really just have to try it, and trust me that it's amazing if you've never had it before. Once I'd added on my last drizzle of cookie butter, I topped the cake with my fourth cake layer, which I placed upside down, just to make it easier to get nice sharp sides when I'm frosting. I used the overhanging frosting to begin to build my crumb coat, and then added on a bit more vanilla and cookie butter frosting to lock in all of those crumbs. I chilled the cake for about 10 minutes in the freezer, and once the frosting was firm to the touch, I added on my second, thicker layer of vanilla buttercream. I then used my large offset spatula and a bench scraper to get my sides nice and smooth. I have an in-depth tutorial on how to frost a cake with perfectly smooth sides, so if you want to check that out, click the link in the upper right corner. To decorate the sides of the cake, I chopped up some Biscoff cookies and placed some large pieces around the bottom, and then slowly worked my way up to kind of create a fading wall of Biscoff cookies. I used a brush to sweep away a lot of the crumbs, and then I began to work on piping the border on top of the cake. Using a small French tip and my remaining cookie butter buttercream, I piped a border around the cake just by making kind of a forward and backward motion. I then repeated this same type of border using a larger French tip and my remaining vanilla buttercream. To dress up the top of the cake a bit more, I also drizzled some of the leftover cookie butter on top of the cake inside the borders. I also spooned a little bit of the leftover Biscoff cookies inside of the border just to really make that white frosting stand out. And that's all there is to it. Our cookie butter cake is complete. So this really is one of my favorite cake flavors. While I do really love Nutella, and I love a Nutella cake that I made a few weeks back, this one is definitely a top contender. It was so good that I actually mailed a slice of this cake to my sister who lives across the country in Seattle. So this is the moment of truth. You guys get to see the really fun pattern that making those two layers of frosting creates. So thanks so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this tutorial, be sure to click the like and subscribe buttons below.